Ransomware has emerged as one of the most formidable threats in the digital era, affecting businesses, government agencies, healthcare institutions, and individuals alike. The rapid proliferation of ransomware attacks over the past decade is a testament to the increasing sophistication of cyber criminals and the lucrative nature of this particular form of cyber extortion. In essence, ransomware is a type of malicious software that encrypts a victim's data or locks them out of their systems, demanding a ransom, usually in cryptocurrency, for the decryption key or restoration of access. The consequences of falling victim to such attacks can be catastrophic, ranging from financial losses and operational disruption to reputational damage and legal ramifications. As organizations and individuals continue to rely more heavily on digital infrastructure, understanding ransomware, its modes of operation, and effective strategies for prevention and response has never been more critical. The roots of ransomware can be traced back to the late 1980s, but it was not until the proliferation of cryptocurrencies and the explosion of global connectivity that ransomware truly came into its own. Early ransomware variants were relatively unsophisticated, often relying on simple encryption methods or social engineering tactics. However, modern ransomware has evolved into a complex ecosystem, with threat actors employing advanced encryption algorithms, leveraging zero-day vulnerabilities, and utilizing sophisticated delivery mechanisms such as phishing emails, exploit kits, and compromised remote desktop protocols, RDP. Notably, the rise of ransomware as a service, RaaS platforms, has democratized access to ransomware tools, enabling even low-skilled attackers to launch devastating campaigns. A typical ransomware attack unfolds in several stages. The initial infection vector is often a carefully crafted phishing email containing a malicious attachment or link. Once the victim interacts with the payload, the ransomware is downloaded onto the system, where it begins to execute its malicious functions. Some variants lie dormant, mapping the network and identifying high-value targets before initiating the encryption process. Upon activation, the ransomware encrypts files, appends new extensions, and displays a ransom note, often threatening permanent data loss or public exposure if demands are not met. Increasingly, attackers employ double extortion tactics, exfiltrating sensitive data prior to encryption and threatening to leak it online unless the ransom is paid. The impact of ransomware extends far beyond the immediate financial cost of the ransom itself. For organizations, downtime resulting from encrypted systems can cripple operations, leading to lost revenue, missed opportunities, and, in some cases, jeopardizing lives, particularly in sectors such as healthcare. The reputational damage following a publicized ransomware incident can erode customer trust and invite regulatory scrutiny. Moreover, the decision to pay a ransom poses ethical and practical dilemmas. While payment may seem like the quickest route to recovery, it does not guarantee data restoration and may embolden attackers to target the organization again in the future. Given the pervasive and evolving nature of ransomware threats, prevention must be a top priority for organizations and individuals. A robust defense against ransomware is multi-layered, encompassing technical controls, user awareness, and organizational policies. At the foundation of any prevention strategy lies the principle of least privilege, ensuring that users and applications have only the minimum access necessary to perform their functions. By restricting administrative rights and segmenting networks, organizations can limit the lateral movement of ransomware should an initial compromise occur. Regular patch management is another cornerstone of ransomware prevention. Many ransomware variants exploit known vulnerabilities in operating systems, applications, or network devices. An effective patch management program ensures that security updates are applied promptly, closing off avenues of attack. Automated tools can assist in identifying and remediating vulnerabilities across large and complex environments. Endpoint protection solutions such as next-generation antivirus, NGAV, and endpoint detection and response, EDR platforms, provide real-time monitoring and behavioral analysis to detect and block ransomware activity. These tools leverage machine learning and threat intelligence to identify suspicious patterns, such as mass file encryption or unauthorized privilege escalation, and can initiate automated containment actions to prevent further spread. Email security remains a critical line of defense, given the prevalence of phishing as an initial attack vector. Advanced email filtering solutions can detect and quarantine malicious attachments or links, while domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance (DMARC) can help prevent email spoofing. However, technology alone is not sufficient. User awareness training is essential to equip employees with the knowledge to recognize and report phishing attempts. Regular simulated phishing exercises can reinforce good security habits and identify areas for improvement. Data backup is often cited as the most effective safeguard against ransomware. Maintaining regular, encrypted, and offline backups ensures that organizations can restore affected systems without capitulating to ransom demands. Backups should be tested periodically to verify their integrity and the effectiveness of restoration procedures. It is crucial that backup systems themselves are protected from unauthorized access and not accessible from the same network as production systems, as some ransomware variants seek out and encrypt backups to maximize leverage. Network segmentation further enhances resilience by isolating critical assets and limiting the spread of ransomware. By dividing the network into distinct zones and implementing strict access controls between them, organizations can contain infections and protect sensitive data. The use of firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, IDPS, and network access control, NAC solutions can help monitor and enforce segmentation policies. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, is a simple yet powerful tool for preventing unauthorized access, particularly to remote desktop services, VPNs, and cloud applications. By requiring an additional verification step beyond a password, MFA significantly reduces the risk of credential-based attacks, which are commonly exploited in ransomware campaigns. Application whitelisting and software restriction policies can also thwart ransomware by allowing only approved applications to execute on endpoints. This approach limits the ability of unauthorized or malicious software to run, thereby reducing the attack surface. Despite best efforts at prevention, no organization is immune to the risk of a ransomware incident. Therefore, a comprehensive response plan is essential to minimize damage and facilitate swift recovery. Incident response planning begins with the establishment of an incident response team, IRT, comprising representatives from IT, security, legal, communications, and executive leadership. The IRT should develop and regularly update a playbook outlining roles, responsibilities, and step-by-step procedures for responding to ransomware attacks. Detection is the first step in the response process. Early identification of ransomware activity, such as unusual file modifications, system slowdowns, or the appearance of ransom notes, can enable rapid containment. Security information and event management, CEM systems, combined with endpoint and network monitoring tools, can provide the visibility needed to detect anomalies and trigger alerts. Once ransomware is detected, containment measures must be enacted immediately to prevent further spread. This may involve isolating affected systems from the network, disabling shared drives, and revoking compromised credentials. Communication is critical during this phase. The incident response team should coordinate with stakeholders to ensure a unified and controlled response, avoiding panic or misinformation. Eradication involves removing the ransomware from infected systems and closing any vulnerabilities that enabled the attack. Forensic analysis can help determine the scope of the incident, identify patient zero, and uncover the tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs, used by the attackers. This information is invaluable for strengthening defenses and preventing recurrence. Recovery focuses on restoring systems and data from clean backups, validating their integrity, and gradually bringing services back online. Throughout this process, it is important to monitor for signs of residual malware or reinfection. Transparent communication with customers, partners, and regulators is essential to maintain trust and comply with legal obligations. The question of whether to pay the ransom is fraught with complexity. Law enforcement agencies and cybersecurity experts generally advise against payment, as it fuels the ransomware economy and does not guarantee data recovery. However, in some cases, such as when critical services are at stake and no viable backups exist, organizations may feel compelled to pay. In such scenarios, it is advisable to consult with legal counsel and law enforcement, and to document all decision-making processes for future reference. Post-incident activities are vital for continuous improvement. A thorough post-mortem analysis should be conducted to identify gaps in security controls, incident response procedures, and user awareness. Lessons learned should inform updates to policies, training programs, and technical defenses. Sharing anonymized information about the attack with industry peers and threat intelligence communities can contribute to collective resilience. Legal and regulatory considerations play a significant role in ransomware response. Data breach notification laws may require organizations to inform affected individuals and authorities if personal data has been compromised. Failure to comply with such regulations can result in significant fines and reputational harm. Cyber insurance policies may provide coverage for certain costs associated with ransomware, but organizations must be familiar with policy terms, exclusions, and reporting requirements. The human factor remains both a vulnerability and a strength in the fight against ransomware. While social engineering tactics continue to exploit user behavior, a well-trained workforce can serve as a formidable line of defense. Security culture should be fostered at all levels of the organization, with leadership setting the tone and investing in ongoing education. Emerging technologies offer new avenues for enhancing ransomware defense. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are increasingly being leveraged to detect and respond to threats in real time, analyzing vast quantities of data for subtle indicators of compromise. Zero-trust architectures, which assume that no user or device is inherently trustworthy, are gaining traction as a means to limit lateral movement and reduce the attack surface. Collaboration is essential in combating ransomware. Public-private partnerships, information sharing and analysis centers, ISACs, and cross-industry initiatives enable the exchange of threat intelligence, best practices, and coordinated responses to large-scale incidents. Law enforcement agencies play a pivotal role in disrupting ransomware operations, dismantling infrastructure, and apprehending perpetrators. On the international stage, ransomware presents unique challenges due to the transnational nature of cybercrime and the use of anonymous cryptocurrencies for ransom payments. Efforts to regulate cryptocurrency exchanges, enhance cross-border cooperation, and harmonize legal frameworks are underway, but progress is gradual. For individuals, ransomware prevention shares many of the same principles as organizational defense. Regularly updating software, using reputable security solutions, exercising caution with email attachments and links, and maintaining offline backups are all essential practices. Personal devices should be protected with strong, unique passwords and multi-factor authentication wherever possible. The future of ransomware is likely to be shaped by a dynamic interplay between attacker innovation and defender adaptation. As organizations harden their defenses and invest in resilience, attackers will seek new vulnerabilities and refine their tactics. The advent of ransomware targeting cloud environments, mobile devices, and Internet of Things, IoT devices, is already evident, underscoring the need for vigilance and agility. Ultimately, the battle against ransomware is not one that can be won through technology alone. It requires a holistic approach that integrates people, processes, and technology, underpinned by a culture of security and a commitment to continuous improvement. By understanding the threat landscape, implementing layered defenses, preparing for incidents, and learning from experience, organizations and individuals can significantly reduce their risk and enhance their ability to respond effectively when faced with ransomware. In conclusion, ransomware represents a clear and present danger to digital society. Its evolution from simple extortion schemes to sophisticated multi-stage attacks reflects the broader trends in cybercrime, where innovation and opportunism drive ever greater risks. Prevention remains the most effective strategy, built upon a foundation of technical controls, user awareness, and sound organizational policies. Yet, the inevitability of incidents necessitates robust response capabilities, grounded in preparation, coordination, and resilience. As the threat landscape continues to evolve, so too must our defenses, through investment in technology, fostering a security-conscious culture, and engaging in collaboration at all levels. By doing so, we can not only mitigate the impact of ransomware, but also build a more secure and resilient digital future.